You know how real estate is.
Yes. How has marketing evolved in real estate over a period of time?
Are we going wrong somewhere?
Let's get back to the hard part.
There are only challenges.
That's Vyoma. What does Vyoma mean?
So Vyoma, and a lot of people ask me this, Vyom means the sky in Sanskrit.
Wow.
So Vyoma means one who flies in the sky. Yeah. So
Very
hopefully someday when you get acquired and you get a big valuation, can say you
Let's
were
hope for it.
Vyoma.
Vyom Sena you would have heard.
Yeah. Vyom
Force.
Sena in one of the
Captain
recent
Air
movies.
Force is called Vyom Sena.
Okay. that's
Captain
nice.
Vyom.
Captain
Milan
Vyom.
Soman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Arun, if you can give us some details about yourself, not the one what is available on your LinkedIn profile or any of the socials, something different, because anyone after watching this would go to your socials and check what is available. So if you can give us some insight on that.
I think one thing that is not in my LinkedIn profile is that I'm a failed musician.
Okay.
I had released one album. you know.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean,
What
it means
language was this in?
Hindi.
Okay.
When I used to be in Bombay,
Okay.
I actually spent money, composed, and then recorded a few songs. Released an album called Mumbai Meri Jaan.
Wow.
I mean, songs were good. I still like them.
Okay.
But thing is, to break through into the musical industry, you need a lot of contacts, connects, networking. So it's just not the talent alone.
Okay.
So you need a lot of other paraphernalia around it, which I didn't have.
Okay.
So out of enthusiasm, I did it.
Okay.
But then I thought that to sustain that, and to make a real break in movies or something is going to be a
Okay.
long, challenging task.
Okay.
You have an NIT, MBA, so you might as well focus on your strengths.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it forced? Because back home, when we pass out of good colleges, parents always have this, no, I want you to get into this. Was there a shift there that you were unable to pursue the music side of yours?
There was definitely a social angle too, that you are so well educated, so parents keep saying, you have so many job offers, there's that, take one of them, be predictable, get married, all that stuff, right? And then parallelly, what is your passion saying, you want to be a musician. Someday you have to take a call, hard call, but I thought, okay, I also realized that, that is not something that you can do for a long run. So, came into the conventional path.
Is that passion continued now?
Yeah,
Do you?
absolutely. So I still sing, in my own ways. I sing, I practice. Of late, I've joined a piano class also.
Wow.
Because
Nice.
now I wanted to learn some Western music, so I joined the piano class.
Vyoma, tell me little more about yourself other than what is available on your socials.
So I am a little more jack of all, master of none kind of person.
Okay.
Done a little bit of everything in my life, right? So for me, the biggest thing is balance,
Okay.
right? So I've done art, I've participated in art competitions, national, international, etc. As a kid. I've done a lot of elocution, debate, acting, all of that kind of stuff. But then, जो इंडिया में करना होता है, service class family, parents saying you to come first in class and get into the best schools and all. So that took over, and then saying अच्छा करना है तो अच्छे से करना है. So got into the whole IIM race, did the IIM, figured marketing as a calling and all that, and got into it. And currently after all these years of doing a little bit of everything, life is about number one, wanting to become a fitter person and learn a sport. I've never learned a sport or played a sport ever, a competitive sport in my life. So now that is calling. Being a good mom, being a startup founder, being a social person, hanging out with friends and all, wanting to travel at least 50 countries before 50 maybe. Yeah. So pushing everybody to do more with their life. So it is not on LinkedIn, but everything that adjective that gets added on LinkedIn, there's this kida to make your life fuller and learning a bit of everything that comes along your way.
So much of positive energy, I can see that.
Maybe, yeah.
She's a good pencil sketcher also. She
Wow.
sketches very well. I mean, she can draw you quite well.
Very nice. I mean, that not everyone has that
Yeah,
kind of
that's
a
something I've seen
skill,
as a-
you know. It's a skill what you develop personally.
Yeah.
Great. Taking forward, how did you guys meet up?
So we were in Bombay days soon
Okay.
after my Barclays.
Okay.
I joined Lodha
Okay.
in around 2008. Lodha was those companies. Now we want to hire the best in class talent.
Yes.
They were the two younger generation. Abhishek and Abhinandan had just come on board. They want to revision the whole real estate space into luxury and things like that. So a lot of billboards were there. Lodha is the first real estate company that is recruiting from IIMs and all that stuff. So a lot of people like me got inspired. Acha hai. So I joined Lodha through a connection. I think next year Vyoma also joined Lodha through a campus placement. So we met there. We being sales and marketing, we were working quite closely together.
It's
So-
a hand in glove kind of a thing,
correct,
sales and marketing.
And there were only like half a dozen people from all these elite B schools who were hired, and between 4 or 5 of us is where all this strategy and new departments were getting set up and all. So we were all collaborating quite closely to make all
Like,
this happen.
a lot of B school guys, used to prefer getting into financial services
Yeah.
or banking sector.
Yeah.
So the transition, I'm sure you guys would have enjoyed getting into.
I am the real example of the transition. I was in Barclays Capital, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Then I moved
what more? Being in a financial, I mean, one of the leading, UK financial institute,
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
getting into real estate, I'm sure you would have enjoyed. Great. So, what are your big learnings with the brands what you guys worked with? What has been a big learning curve there?
See, for me, I think real estate was never planned. Okay, so the first thing when you ask an IIM grad saying कि आपको कहाँ पे place होना है, anybody who's aspirational will say कि मुझे McKinsey जाना है, BCG जाना है. If not, I want to go to Merrill Lynch. I did my internship in Merrill Lynch, Hong Kong. Never thought you'll get into real estate and get into a company called Lodha. Or you're into marketing, you want to get into HUL, PNG. But the whole thing with real estate is that it has been a sunrise sector for quite a long time, and with advent of companies in Mumbai like Lodha and maybe DLF in Delhi and all that, there has been a huge opportunity for professionals like us to come in and make a real change in the sector, right? We were fortunate enough to start with one of the best in the space, Lodha being one of the finest. We call it the Lodha School of Management. वहाँ से you do your real estate MBA, and then you go on to do more things in other companies in the industry. We have been fortunate enough to work in Brigade, Embassy,
Big
Shriram.
names,
Yeah, good names and all. So what I would say is we have still not got the best of the processes of say management from across industries or around the world, or you can't call it world-class processes because it's still a homegrown local industry, real estate. But we've learned real estate extremely well from some of the best in the industry, and we've been fortunate enough to carry on those processes, and that's what we are trying to emulate at Flow.
Do you see stressed inventory being a segment?
Absolutely. It's a huge segment, but in the last 3 years, the market has been extremely good. For example, Bangalore, I'm told that the volumes have been up at least 50% compared to 2021 and 24, 50% up.
So that could be because of the pandemic as well. But
It
or
was
is
a bit of a catch-up, I would say.
Okay.
So the thing is, even within the whole 3.5-4 years of startup journey we've seen, we're proud to say we've seen 2 very different cycles and survived and thrived through both. Like when we started out, 2020 end is when we started out, right? We had just recovered from the first wave of COVID. And then before the company was 6 months old, the second wave of COVID was on to us, right? There is a bootstrap startup, big salary bill to be given, real estate sales, घर पे बैठ के तो होता नहीं है, कितना भी online sales कर लो, but we still did, we did online sales, we paid salaries on time, we kept all our people together, etc. And it took a good about 2 years time post the second wave, third wave also for the business to catch up. So during that time, and of course a lot of builders were also in stress, we did a lot of stressed assets because that was the need of the market in that hour. That people were not selling inventory steadily for the last 4-5 years with GST issues, RERA issues, NBFC crisis, COVID, all of that coming back to back every year. After that, the market has picked up. We have done new launches also. We've done the full cycle of a portfolio of a developer. We've helped a developer expand in a 2.0 version in the market. So that way we've been fortunate enough to survive through multiple cycles and do different kind of formats and succeed in various kind of formats.
Yes, as we have already got into real estate, we've been discussing real estate now. There was an era where today also people speak about, software as a service, infrastructure as a service. Very keen to understand real estate as a service. If you can put some highlight there,
Yeah, so technically, every builder that you see in Bangalore or in India, it's a service company.
Right.
They have a land, they build something, they monetize, they hand it over to the association and they exit.
Yes.
So it's a 3-year or 4-year cycle. They have a product to so-called to sell.
Correct.
But after 4 years, they only have cash in the bank, okay, or debt. I don't know.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's a service. It's over. So what we thought was, if you are able to, and in this struggle and in this 4-year period of developing a project, the developers go through a lot of uncertainties. Sometimes legal issues could come in the land. Sometimes the cash flow issues, which is predominantly the biggest challenge. Then you need to take a debt from a bank or an NBFC where it's difficult to get. Today it's easy, but 3-4 years back it was even more difficult. Okay. So one thing that we thought was how to bring predictability in sales and cash flow. And that is where we thought we will start an asset-light model where we as a company, we could be a plug-in system that the developers could use to bring in predictability in their entire development cycle. So that's where the concept of real estate as a service comes. Tomorrow, we wanted to add more layers to it, like, how to give them little more assurance in quality. How do we ensure that, little more project management kind of services can be offered? How do you increase the depth of our services and the breadth of our services? That is something that we are going to work out over the next few years to come.
Real estate of services.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be catchy, and
Yeah.
I think
you can in a way say, like, Uber or Oyo. What they did was, asset is already existing. You add a layer to it of services and a brand to it. Suddenly it becomes much more likable in the market and acceptable in the market.
acceptable
Okay.
in the market.
So Uber was, same taxi drivers were available, but just by having an app and convenience, a lot of people started using. Today it's a way of life. So in a way, in real estate, this is what we wanted to do, how to help people monetize things. So if you have a land, how can I provide services enough to ensure that you monetize this land and money is in your bank account within a stipulated period of time? It could be development, it could be sales and marketing, it could be stress asset turnaround, it could be a little bit of help in projects, quality, construction management, whatever, development management model. So all these things are something that we wanted to explore in the years to come.
And everything in pay as you go.
Yes.
So that is SaaS for you.
Correct.
That you
Pay as you go.
Yeah.
Don't build your own product in-house and spend time and capital on it initially. Pay as you go, somebody else who is an expert in that thing is doing it for you. So in a similar model for us, it is that don't try to build your own sales, marketing, product team in-house and train them and then have a fixed cost overhead on you. In our model, you can outsource it to experts and then pay a commission as you go, success-based fee as you go, and hence that whole connection of SaaS to a real estate as a service.
What are the services offered at Flow Realty?
So like Arun said, anything you need to monetize your land into cash flow,
Okay.
we're there in between.
Little more in
Right.
simple terms.
So suppose a developer, we'll take a developer who is doing a project for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, he has had a land parcel probably aggregated by his father, and he wants to venture into now becoming a developer by himself. Right from the very beginning, what kind of product should you build? What is the pricing available at the location? What kind of sizing, amenities, vastu considerations should you have? what should be your brand identity, what should be the positioning of your product, what kind of marketing do you need to do, how much to spend in digital marketing, how much to sell via brokers, channel partners, what kind of print media to use, what should your telecalling team say, sales team say, how to design your sales office, what should be the pricing of your product, say leke an assured business plan with 90% plus predictability, and happy to say we have been delivering 90% accuracy predictability of the business plan for most of the projects we've done, saying हर quarter में कितना बिकेगा, क्या price पे बिकेगा, what will be the marketing spend that the developer needs to give, right? And the cash flow that you will have, like the collections that you will have. Every month you are collecting 10 crores and from there our role stops. Like ये 10 crore बैंक में आ गया is the biggest predictability and assurance that any developer, especially in residential real estate, needs today. Right? So giving him that predictability and assurance while having all the softer takeaways of building his brand, marketing his product like how a grade A listed developer would, which is having a rub off way beyond the life cycle of his product. Right? So we are involved in the whole life cycle for him.
Right. So to put it very simple, you're trying to build a corporate out of a new company.
Absolutely.
If I have to put it that way. Can we understand the work process in Flow Realty?
Process as in from the
right, whatever
time you
like she mentioned that this is how we do, how this is done as a process.
So it's a mix of art and science, like Vyoma keeps saying. So first generally is the science part, so first we understand so we are actually first part is a consulting part like McKinsey does. Understand what the developer wants, what are his objectives, document them, brand objectives, then P&L objectives, then cash flow objectives, IRR objectives. So these things we try to understand, Then we go back to our drawing board and then we say that, this is the way you should approach the marketing. This is the way you should approach the sales part of it. This is the number of leads that we need to generate. Another important part is, what kind of architects we need to introduce, so that some of the developers have a certain budget and a certain kind of a size in mind. So sometimes we even recommend the architects, you work with these people, they are good in these kind of things. So we look at the whole requirement from the client side and then break it into pieces: design, marketing, sales, product strategy, market research, feasibility, pricing, etc. Then we go back to them with a crisp business plan. So this is the overall business plan, quarter by quarter. This is the money you will spend and this is the money we'll put back in your bank account. So we give them that level of understanding in terms of cash flow. Second part is, agar site pay, for example, some of the projects were ongoing projects. They had quality issues, existing clients were not happy, etc. So we told them that you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to ensure that the existing clients are happy. Otherwise, you start a new marketing campaign, they are going to flood the social media with
negative
not
remarks.
So good reviews. So even that need to handle. There are a couple of cases where, many of them, where we have a tie-up with IKEA. So we have even asked people, this IKEA team will come, you redo the entire sales office and model apartment with IKEA furniture, so that the Gen Z and the new generation can connect with the design philosophy, and the whole product is now given a new look and a new kind of positioning. And then you add your pricing, offer, all these things into it. Suddenly, it's like a very new launch itself by itself. So this is the pre-sales and marketing part. Then comes the rigor of post-launch part. Lead by lead, as the lead coming, the lead serviced properly, is the pitch correct, is the number of walk-ins coming properly, are the bookings happening, after booking also are the agreement getting signed, is the bank loan happening, is the disbursal happening. Believe me, even at disbursal stage, there are some land documents that are missing and banks don't disburse. You have to get back to the developer saying that these 3 things need to be done and then only the loan will get approved.
Small things, but
very, very small things. And in a launch, typically there are about 200 variables that could go wrong. And even one of them go wrong can affect the entire business plan. And that is the kind of checklist and predictability. We have a playbook, a launch playbook internally that we have made.
Very nice.
It is nothing but checklist of various types. And then for this developer, what are the 10 things to be done? For that developer, what are the 20 things to be done? And make a customized playbook for him. Then it is left to our team. Then a lot of art and motivation also. Sales guys have to be motivated, incentives, parties, all these things are part of the journey. But it's fun journey, and every project is different. Some places it is a stress asset rejuvenation. In some other places it is a plotted development that has been there for a long time. How do we monetize? In some other case, it's a under construction building where sales have been slow and they need somebody to quickly come and monetize. So we'll be under tremendous pressure. Developer will say, last 18 months I have not sold anything. Now 19th month you need to sell 25 units, So sometimes it's tough, it's challenging, but I think that as entrepreneurs, that's what we signed up for. And I think that's what keeps us on our toes.
And that's the whole fun of it, It's like saying Shah Rukh Khan will only do Yash Chopra movies. That's what you are when you are a CXO inside a developer. Okay.
Yes.
But then Shah Rukh Khan wants to do a dar sometimes just to break out of that whole rom-com main Rahul hoon wala thing, right? So that's what we have experienced after coming out of corporate. We are now playing a different role as a different actor in a stressed asset, in a new launch, in a new developer who had no existence before this first project, in a new market entry for an existing large developer, right? So we have been donning all those different hats and playing those different roles, and that has been a very fun and exciting journey.
Yeah, the only small sad point is we are like a catalyst in chemistry. Catalyst is put, nobody notices the catalyst presence, but it makes the reaction good, and it quietly settles down somewhere in the.
So we understood the workflow, what Flow Realty process. This look really good. This looks amazing. Okay, this is how they are doing. Let's get back to the hard part. Challenges in service-related industries. If you can highlight those.
Challenges means there are only challenges.
That's the thing I want to understand.
So fortunately and unfortunately, we deal with a lot of people. It's all clients are people, developer is a person, then and all our employees are people, and then customers who buy apartments are people. So customer wants funny things like funny nights with due respect for them, their requirements. Somebody wants southwest corner master bedroom only, and there should not be any common walls. Or kitchen has to be in the east, counter has to be in the west, potty seat has to be facing something.
Right.
Okay, all these things are there. Okay, now there is a sales guy who's trying to match the following. Okay, my apartment has got these three things which are important, but unfortunately these three things are not there. So there is a battle between convincing the customer that this is the best product for you. Okay. On the other hand, there is a developer who's saying that no, price has to be better. I studied the market. The market is selling at 8,000. Now we are selling at 7,000. So I need the price to be higher. So the developer has his own requirements, and as we go along, requirements do change. After selling about 40% of the inventory, developers, the key pain point is solved. Now he wants to maximize profit. Fair to him.
Yes.
That is how any businessman will be. So he wants to maximize his profit. So his game plan and his goalpost has changed after 30% is sold. Whereas we have just got started, we are in the momentum. Okay. And while these problems happen, sometimes the employees also feel that there is too much pressure. Maybe 100 people have come, only 7 people have booked. Our target is 12 people have to book if 100 people have walked in. So that 5% is a gap. So sometimes they are demotivated. Sometimes developers have their own, what do you call, little bit points or areas of concern. Customers have their own ups and downs. So it's a matter of constantly ensuring that all are happy in the journey. Okay, how do we ensure that he is happy, and while we both are also happy?
Yes.
So unfortunately, what we have understood is, if 7 out of 10 people are happy, okay, just get on with it. Sometimes we both are the unhappy people. Okay, fine, 8 out of 10 are happy. Let the show go on. So it's
how easy is it to convince a new age builder for your services?
New age builder is easy,
Okay.
right? Relatively easy because he's okay to let go of control and leave the work to experts. So we have met a lot of next gen entrepreneurs. Father built a company, now the son has come in and he wants to expand, he wants to make a new age product, new age designs, etc., get the best of the materials, etc. We love working with them because there is a whole collaborative mindset that this new generation comes with. It is not about me, it is not about having control, it is about saying how do I get the best architect from here, how do I get the best sales marketing experts from here, how do I get the best agency from there and the best contractor from somewhere else, and make them all work for me because I know it's good for my brand and it is all coming back to me, paying off in the long run, right? Also working with new age professionals, cash flow for us is also easier to manage.
Right.
You know how real estate is.
Yes.
Right. So for us also it makes it easier to bump off new ideas, get the cash flows on time, etc. And the intent to deliver is also great. They're making a lot of interesting products out there, and we become their medium to package it in the right way, give the customer what he wants to see, right? So that the developer gets the best price and a predictable sales velocity out of it.
No, having said that, there are two types of new generation people. One set of new generation people are the people who want to do it everything themselves. Okay, so we don't get into that segment because they are new and they want to try out everything. They want to do marketing their way, sales their way. So sometimes they want to also prove a point to the older generation that I'm reorganizing the company in a totally different way. So sometimes what happens, such clients, we meet them, we send a proposal, but they have the strong urge to do it themselves. So sometimes the deal doesn't work out. Whereas there are some older developers also who only care about what money I'm getting, what IRR I'm getting, what profitability I'm getting. So you tell them that, okay, ye price mein jayega and you will get this much profit. He will completely let the entire thing outsource to you, and he'll just make phone calls saying that, is it happening? Is it happened? Then he's happy. So there are both sides of people. It's not just about new and old. It's about some people want to do it themselves, and where it's little difficult, two sets of ideas, two sets of minds coming in, sometimes it's not always productive. So,
how do you feel you're giving a value for these kind of people? Like you highlighted, there are two set of people, right? How do you make them feel valued?
The value as in, at the end of the day, it's a business. So fundamentally, I told you about this product packaging distribution story, right? When we package, we have realized that in all our last 30 plus projects, we have realized that a lot of the ongoing projects which have been selling in a certain manner, we have been definitely able to up the prices by about 10%.
Okay.
The day we come in,
okay.
The day we relaunch. Okay.
Nice.
And all the cost, after subtracting all the cost, the developer is still positive. So he's still getting a delta out of it.
Basically, our services, and that's how some of the smart developers see it. Okay. Our services are literally coming free for the developer, right? That whatever we charge by way of our fees, by way of marketing, by way of brokers, all of that put together is getting mitigated by the betterment of the price, by the price appreciation that he's getting in on his product, and I'm still not counting in the money in interest that he's saving by way of better sales velocity. So he really doesn't have to borrow from outside.
And second thing is, suppose you have a 400 crore project, okay. Would you want to give it in the hands of a 3 or 4 in-house sales team who are barely 30 something or 20 something and let a 400 crore project a sales
Today
plan?
it's very difficult to get good talent as well.
So second thing is they don't have to go through the problems of attrition, motivation, people quitting, unethical practices that happen in real estate, cash paybacks, this, that, some cheating cases. So with us coming in, they just have to monitor the bank account very well, and there is no inconvenience at all. They don't have to go through the rigmarole
they can focus on creating more products.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
To get a video out, marketing video out for a project, I'm sure developers team will have to spend months to get that.
Yes.
Whereas we have a team that will make them and give it to them in 15 days time, right?
That's the whole process. Easing
they would take a year to launch. When they come to us, launch is done in 30-45 days, and that too also they squeeze in sometime 20 days mein launch kar do. Oh, so
After hearing this, I see challenges being on a higher side compared to the ease of it. Tell me, how do you manage conflicts, and the weightage is given to a builder, customer, or your team? How do you balance this?
So far, we have been very customer focused. In fact, I can say client obsessed, because we started as a bootstrapped company. We started as a bootstrap company in a difficult time in COVID. Okay, so the only way to survive was to create a whole new level of delight for the client. Right? We also started at a time when this model was not so popular. Analog had just started doing well. Right? Most of the other mandate players who exist today have started around the same time or just after us. Right? So it was very difficult to first convince a client कि हमको दो आपका project. So the only way to survive and thrive and get word of mouth in this industry is to delight the client to a whole new level, right? So, and that has continued in our DNA. कि employees sometimes are stressed out, there is a lot of work, there are parallel launches going on, they're not being able to manage the work stress, etc. कभी client ने आके कुछ बोला कि I'm not happy with the way your product is being pitched. I know my sales guy is doing a good job. We have done our mocks, our audits and all of that. We trust them, but we always ensure that if the client gives feedback, it is re-audited in the process and feedback is taken, it's corrected and it's communicated back to the client. So yes, we do take a little bit of extra stress for client obsession and all, but now that we are a slightly larger organization, we are trying to balance that with employee happiness.
But one thing me and Vyoma try to do is that we try to be as honest as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so we put all the problems on the table. Okay, and we feel that even if it's our own company's issues, we feel is what a developer is saying, feedback or sales is slow, price can be higher. We actually try to, as neutrally as possible, try to look at it saying that are we going wrong somewhere? Okay, if we think we are going wrong, we proactively take steps. There have been clients where, not naming them, some of them have been extremely unreasonable over a period of time. We have let go of them also. Yeah. We'll simply say that, okay, with all due respect to you, I don't think Flow is the right partner for you. Maybe you should try somebody else whose strength is that,
Right.
Just like, SRK cannot do Salman movies and vice versa.
Vice versa.
You hire your Salman, we are SRK or whatever.
Yes. Now, I missed asking one point. As you highlighted on your team who have done good. Now, how do you retain talent? Because today the mindset of any Gen Z or anyone who has got into a job or working, they have a mindset, entrepreneurial mindset. Making them work in an organization, it's not easy. So how do you balance this?
That is, I'm the worst person to answer that. She's the best person to answer this.
See, one thing is, we always keep talking about it, right? If God were to create one industry where it is most difficult to retain talent, it is this mandate services company. Okay, that's where we are at right now. So number one, we are a sales company. Okay, sales company which is into client servicing. I'm not the sales company of a developer who has a product कि ये quarter में sales नहीं हुआ तो मेरा ही product है, next quarter बिक जाएगा, right?
Yes.
I am giving a written signed off business plan at the same time to 12 developers, right? It's written. Now I have to create a sales team who will make all these developers happy at the same time, right? Because I have signed off on a target. Number two, they are sales people. Right? So sales or marketing people who need to be motivated all the time to perform their job right? Client servicing means you have to say yes to the client all the time during that. So we have about 3 to 4 layers of screening we do before, number one, getting the talent on board. So the most important step starts with screening. There is a fitment screening that happens at HR level. We know from an attitude ki, for example, if a salesperson has spent very comfortable time in big corporates all throughout his career, we know nahi jamega idhar. We know that this is a slightly more dynamic environment, more pressure on targets, more focus on efficiency, more reviews, more questions, right? So we know that यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा problem हो सकता है. We try to eliminate basis what is the background of the candidate, how much is the hunger, right? And what is the possible fitment in a culture like ours. After that, we have at least 2, if not ideally 3 layers of interview process happening. with different people and one person from the non-direct reporting function also. Right? So we try to hire right as much as possible. Second thing is, unlike a lot of companies in real estate, we are a very what you see is what you get kind of company. Okay. We know we cannot pay a top of the market salary because we are bootstrapped. We don't have a big investor backing us. We cannot beat a lot of other players on salaries, right? But we give an honest expectation of how much money you will make, what is the culture you will expect, what is the responsibility you will get, and we try to hold true on everything. So when the person comes on board, it is what was promised to the candidate at the time of the interview, so that mismatch in expectations and resulting, that heartburn doesn't happen later, right? And third thing is, we are generous with incentive, both by way of the amount and on timely payment, right? So one reason why a lot of people in this industry, including in developers, mandate players, etc., leave is because incentives are promised to the moon and they're not paid, right? So we do not promise the moon, but whatever we have promised, we ensure you get it on time. There is a predictability to it. Within 15-20 days of when it was promised, it comes to your bank account. So those are some of the things which people love us for. They get growth, they get learning, and even the industry knows. I can't promise, but I know for sure that if the HR of some other company sees a Flow resume, they will recruit that person in one round of interview.
Nice.
That I can guarantee.
And another part which we are trying to look at it is, in this matters, we try to take inspiration from the Infosys and the TCS of the likes. They all go through 30 to 40% attrition. They are much bigger than us, much bigger than us. And they have a system of people coming in. Attrition is important to control cost.
Yes.
The same set of people stay for the next 5 years and you give them 10%, 20% hike every year. All of them will be double salaries in 5 years. So it's very important to have 30-40% attrition. We respect that. And we try to get new people, train them very well. So one thing that we are both now working on is how to make the training little more productized. Once a person comes, how can he get a crash course on real estate MBA or whatever Lodha used to do?
So just to highlight, what are the cities you currently operating out of?
So we started with Bangalore.
Okay.
And after building quite a few projects in Bangalore, now we have taken up 2 projects. One is in Bhubaneswar.
Okay.
And a lovely city, amazing, very nice. And then one in Mysore, one plotted development we have started in Mysore. And soon we are evaluating between Hyderabad and Ahmedabad.
Very nice.
So we hope that
my next
at least,
question would have been that how many more cities can we see Flow?
At least our wish is that by 2025 end or 26 should be in 5 to 6 cities. Now currently we are at 3. Another important thing is to grow deeper in the cities also. So right. Mysore, how we can expand. Bhubaneswar also, how we can expand. Largely, thankfully, our client in Bhubaneswar wants to add many more projects. So we are hoping that it will grow organically.
So is there a mindset difference between the developer customers in each of the cities?
Absolutely. There's a huge difference between how you get things done in Bangalore versus how you get things done in Bhubaneswar. Right from the client's mindset in Bangalore. Bombay, for example, the FOMO is the highest. One project launches, everybody will buy because they have seen price appreciating for the last 50-60 years, right? And what has been sold at 2,000 is now maybe 80,000. So in Bangalore, it's catching up. That FOMO is catching up very well. But cities like Bhubaneswar, Mysore, that FOMO is not much there. So and the city is still growing. New migrants from other cities in the IT industry, etc., still coming. So, and they still have plenty of supply in terms of good quality houses, the G+3, G+2 kind of houses where they live comfortably. So, buying an apartment and assuming that apartment price will appreciate further, so I need to take a decision today. So, these are things that people are culturally, they are not as driven by FOMO. So they just go by the requirement. हमको क्या चाहिए, हमारे बजट ये है, उसके अंदर आ रहा है तो देखेंगे. That is the kind of approach they have. Similarly in Mysore, a biggest chunk of our buyers have been from Bangalore, because Bangalore people are seeing plotted development at 8,000 rupees. And when you offer something at 3,000, they simply see value. Whereas a person living in Mysore, he sees 3,000. This was available at 1,500. I'm not going to pay more than 2,000 for this. So that kind of definitely there. And even in employees, Bombay employees, I mean, we were groomed in Bombay, thankfully. So we have that hunger, we want to achieve, we want to go more. Bangalore is little more chilled back. So I used to start at 7:30 for work when I used to be in Bombay. Now I start at 10:30. Okay, back, Bombay. Calcutta, Bhubaneswar are, I mean, even in that way, they are also a little more chilled out.
Also okay.
Yeah. Little more chilled out. So, but they all have their own ways of doing things. And, their own
But do you
objectives.
see that you guys will make a better impact in cities like Bhubaneswar, Mysore, or any of the other tier 2 cities rather than the cosmopolitan or bigger cities? Do you feel that?
So Bhubaneswar, to be honest, came to us by accident.
Okay.
But we have had an amazing time working there. So here, for example, if you are we made a code name campaign in Bhubaneswar, right? Which is the norm in Mumbai, Bangalore, sab log karte hain, right? We are a little hatke in terms of marketing. We like living the code name. We don't put a code name for the sake of it. We make a code name which has a meaning. We carry that theme through the entire sales marketing experience that we create there. And we created something called Codename Mesmerize in Bhubaneswar, because the two developers who are jointly making this project are called Metro and Acre Rise. Metro plus Acre Rise is Codename Mesmerize. This is the first time they are coming together, right?
Okay.
And the whole campaign was AI generated images, because the whole Mesmerize theme is coming by way of AI tools making the whole campaign, right? The way the sales team talks, the way their booking experience is, the way the hashtags are used in the social media campaign, etc., was so amazing to see how that market is responding to some innovation like this. And the best compliment you get from that market is that it's a very agile market also. 2 हफ्ते में दूसरा developer अपना code name campaign लेके आ गया, right?
So you created that havoc in the market.
Yeah. That they say that that copying is the best form of flashing.
So in 1 year, there are at least 5 code names have launched in Bhubaneswar after we did that.
Yeah.
That's nice. So you can always say we were the patent guys who started this.
And second thing is, I mean, of course, with all due respect to the developer, they have a very clear idea about what they want to do. But, some of the elements, the jazz elements that we see in Bangalore, Bhubaneswar, etc. So we also consulted them that some of these 4-5 things you should add to the product, to the landscape you should add these 10 amenities, these kind of services. They also took those inspirations and created something. So not just the code name is mesmerized, the product is also quite mesmerizing in its own way. Some of the entrance designer lobbies are some mind-blowing. Those kind of products Bhubaneswar has never seen. So they are also the customers are also seeing something that is
and the
first
developer
time.
is also very open to try out new things.
So that's all. I mean, continuation to this is future of marketing. That's what I think you guys have already started. Before we hit there, what is the vision of Flow Realty?
Yeah. So we started off as a asset-light services game. So the vision is always going to be centered around monetizing assets.
Okay.
How do we create solutions that help you monetize? Okay, today we are largely in the sales and marketing form of monetization, but we wanted to add layers where, even if you have a fractional asset, how can you monetize that? Okay, even if you have a land, can we help them create a product and monetize it? Okay, how do we add more a breadth of services and depth to ensure that your monetization objectives. Similarly, for example, one of the biggest, I'm just giving an example, one of the biggest landlords of India in residential sector is Times of India. Can we monetize their assets?
Yes.
Okay. Landowners, they get 40% of the apartments in every JDA product. Can we monetize that? Okay. Similarly, can we monetize commercial going forward? So these are some of the things that we would like to play around. But the core focus is going to be monetization. How do we help monetize?
Yeah. Your take.
In the short run, Arun added the more long-term vision of it. In the short run, we're already looking at one more vertical called Terra by Flow,
okay.
Which is going to be our attempt to enable plot sales online. Okay?
Wow.
We've already done 2 pilots, and which is why we've not been announcing the vertical without doing. We believe in a little more bottom-up, grounded approach to things. So we've already done 2 case studies, one in Mysore, one in Bangalore, where about 50% of our sales are happening purely online.
Wow.
You know,
I think
so
we
when
should
you-
do a master class on this for sure, for the
yeah.
audience to understand what it
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah, and it's not fractional, it's whole simple real
Understood.
estate. You are the owner of the plot. But we see this as a very potent area of real estate, as a lot of satellite towns are developing around the core cities. Bangalore itself is having a dozen satellite towns around, and real estate prices are increasing in all these areas. Most customers don't know where the infra is headed, where will prices increase, etc. But they want a chunk of the pie, right? But they cannot go and visit every single plot available out there in the market. So we are here to identify the right plotted developments, the right assets, trustworthy, high quality developers, package the infrastructure and the product story, present it online, and have an entirely online buying process with an optional visit if required to the plotted development.
And we are also on the drawing board with respect to another vertical, which is in the resale sector. One huge problem in India is if you have one or two apartments, selling them is going to be a task.
Challenge.
Okay, but we have not found the right solution yet because there are too many variables involved: quality of the apartment, age of the apartment, the price expectation of the owner, buyer, the legal.
There's a huge mismatch.
The legal documentation, how easy it is to transact between two unrelated parties. So we are still, trying to prepare. We are about 70% there, but there are about 30% more variables to be addressed. So hopefully, we'll plan to announce that also. It is again monetization. I have an apartment I want to sell. Okay, is our company able to sell it and put the money in the account? So this is the asset monetization.
I mean, you guys have been into corporate, now started your company and taking it to a next level. How has marketing evolved in real estate over a period of time?
So, when we would go back to maybe like 15 years earlier, in Mumbai, real estate marketing was all about might. If you can afford 20 hoardings in the city, if you can afford a dozen jackets to announce your launch, right, then you would be successful as a developer. So not just deep pockets to buy land, but also deep pockets to do marketing was the norm between say 2008 to about 2010 jaisa. Okay, 2000, maybe 2010 tak, in that whole decade of early 2000s, right? After that, with the advent of digital marketing, you can say marketing is also democratized, right? That you no longer need a 1 crore, 2 crore, 5 crore budget to launch a new project. If you have budget enough, and that's what we do today for most of our developers, all we ask for to sell his business plan is about 5 to 7 lakh in digital marketing. That's all you need, right? To reach to an audience of thousands who are the right target audience for your product, filter them out, and find out about 2 to 3% prospective buyers out of that. So with the advent of digital marketing, in a way, that whole marketing industry has gone through a major shift where more than the marketing budget and the media plan that you have, the content is important. How you are presenting your product, what is the story of your product, how are you talking to your target audience, and the science behind knowing how to do digital marketing to capture the right audience. And that's where we think we have been successful at Flow to a large extent, is because we understand this pulse of what the customer wants to hear extremely well, and we go little hatke outside the norm in making marketing stories that click. For example, one of our recent launches, still underway, is called Codename GOAT, G-O-A-T, right? That's the acronym.
I read somewhere. I saw this, GOAT.
Yeah. So the whole thing is, we don't just do codenames for the sake of it, we get immersed into it. Codename GOAT is the greatest of all time acronym that you have. We saw an opportunity here because the product is a no-frills product, right? You cannot have a fancy story around it, designer lobby hai, 500 amenities hai. We don't have that story. It's a no-nonsense, functional, very value for money product. But it is the right product for the Gen Z buyer, right? So we saw an opportunity to create a codename around Gen Z. GOAT is the codename. The whole brochure talks about Gen Z slang. The whole sales office and even our pitch is centered around Gen Z slang. We personally learned Gen Z slang and put it in our sales pitch to be able to do that. We have used neon colors. We have used very jazzy artwork in our brochures, in our campaigns. So much so that sometimes the first 10 minutes of the client's conversation is about this concept.
Please
Then they come to the product.
Please tell 2-3 Gen Z slangs. Pookie.
Okay. No.
Sus.
Yeah, sus is one.
Okay.
This team can tell more. Then skibbity. You have Skibidi, right? Yeah. And
Pookie.
you have, what do you have? I forgot all of that. I had mugged up a whole. We had a ready reckoner for the
Okay.
team. Pasted everywhere. कि ऐसे बात करना है, right? So we really get into the character of what we do,
Very nice.
and that is something that nobody would do in any space here. They will just say आपका product है, हम sales team बैठाएंगे, हम 2 bedroom 3 bedroom बेच के आपको दे देंगे. But that's what we love doing, and for us it's that passion, committed, plus the commitment of the numbers and the predictability that.
But going forward, Indian real estate has a lot to catch up with respect to the rest of the world in terms of quality, the kind of products under luxury as well as under affordable smart homes, even furnishing, interiors. We all have decades to catch up. So finally, at the end of the day, products itself have to be, may the best man win kind of a thing, right? Whoever brings in innovative products, locations, and the good offering will finally win. So marketing is only a medium in terms of matching the buyers and the sellers.
Correct.
But at the end of the day, core of the product has to be the king at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah. If I'll have to ask, how will you at Flow crack the psychology of a home buyer? As we speak about Gen Z and so many younger generation getting into it, how would you crack it?
So there's no one clear answer to that question, but I can say that between all the projects that we've done here or even before our journey of Flow, we have cracked the mindset or the wish list of a buyer who is buying a 30 lakh plot from a first time brand that he has never heard before, to the mindset of a buyer who is looking for an ultra luxury 7 crore villa in a prime neighborhood in Bangalore. So I think between the spectrum, we have done enough case studies to know that whatever you throw at us, we know what the buyer wants to hear, and we're confident of cracking the mindset of the
And
buyer.
India is now almost equivalent of some 20 countries of Europe plus UK, right?
Yes.
So we have rich, uber rich, young rich, affordable, middle Indians. So I'm saying there is no one strategy. You need to identify who is the buyer and go after him.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we end this, we haven't spoken about numbers. So, Arun, if you can give some details on, in last 4 years, the number of builders you guys are working, what is the book size you guys have created or working on, I think that would add a lot of value.
Yeah. I mean, we started off with one project, and then we formed a team with that, we're very thankful to that developer for sure. And today we have successfully completed 30 projects. And totaling, we were just doing back of the envelope calculation. We sold nearly 5 million square feet of real estate. And more than that, what we take pride is, approximately 2,000 crores of loans repaid through our effort of selling 5 million. That's real monetization, right? And today we have a portfolio of about 6,000 crores that we are managing in terms of new launches, inventory that are being added, various stages of work in progress. Some are yet to launch, some are just launched. So those plan is going on. About 6,000 crores of inventory is there, and we have about 2 to 2.5 years to monetize this 6,000 crores. Yeah, that is where we are right now.
Great. I think these figures speak a lot about where Flow Realty is heading. Excited about it. We would be happy to see you guys reach the peak.
Absolutely.
It was very nice interacting with both
Likewise.
of you. One take what I can speak about is real estate as a service is something what I learned today. I had a different vision, but the way you guys put it across, it was exciting for me to get a better understanding on that. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
too.
much. Pleasure is ours.